You've been told women test men. Everything confusing, inconsistent, or frustrating things she does, it's a test. Your job is either to pass it, to stay firm. But what if this entire way of thinking is actually making you more paranoid, defensive, and completely misreading what's happening right in front of you? And in doing so, you are creating the exact conflict that you are trying to avoid. Welcome to the Dating Rulebook is Wrong. I'm Mariana, dating and relationship coach. And today we are going to talk about the women are always testing men belief. What's real in it, what's wrong in it, and most importantly, what's actually happening when she seems confusing to you. Let's get honest. This test framework came out of pickup culture, and it spread fast because it was an easy way to explain behavior, for confusing female behavior, that is. She's pulling back, it's a test. She said something that doesn't make sense, it's a test. She's emotional, it's a test. You pass it by not reacting, you win. Problem is, when you approach dating and relationships through that lens, something quietly is breaking. You stop trying to truly understand her. You start trying to just win this so-called game that you think you're playing. And that shift from curiosity to just simple strategy is exactly what can kill a real connection. Not every woman is trying to test you. Now, let's go through this really carefully, because just the same as with many bad ideas, this has one grain of truth in it. Women do pay attention how men perform under pressure. Because why? Consistency matters. They want to know what you are like in difficult situations. Emotional groundedness matters. A man who can really hold himself together when things get stressful. Who doesn't spiral, who doesn't lash out, who doesn't go cold. That is genuinely attractive. That part is real. But here's the key thing. A woman noticing how you handle a difficult situation is not manipulation. She's not running a covert operation on you. She's simply paying attention to who you actually are. Because why? That information matters to her safety, her future, her well-being. And that's not a test, that's simply a reasonable thing for a human to do. And here's where the framework goes badly wrong. When every confusing behavior gets labeled as a test, men stop trying to understand and they switch on to trying to win. And the moment you're trying to win an interaction with your partner, you've already lost something important. You've lost your ability to actually connect with her. And this framework also subtly casts women as adversaries. It assumes bad faith. It assumes that she's running a strategy on you. And once you're operating on believing that assumption, you become guarded. You become strategic back, trying to defend yourself. And she feels that immediately. And here's what's happening most of the time. Most of the time when she feels confusing, inconsistent, or frustrating, she is communicating something imperfectly, maybe indirectly, maybe in a way that actually isn't entirely fair to you. But there is a need, a fear, a feeling underneath that she's not quietly sure on how to express it directly. When she says, nothing's wrong, but something clearly is, you know that tone, oh, nothing's wrong, but you can tell in her whole demeanor that something is definitely wrong. That's not her testing you. That's maybe someone who doesn't feel safe enough to say what the real thing is behind her emotion. When she gets emotional about something that feels minor, she's not running a power play. There's usually something going on deeper beneath the surface that's much more important than that surface issue. And what she needs in that moment is a man who is curious, who says, help me understand what's happening for you right now. What are you feeling? That response, that's curiosity. It's 10 times more attractive than any performance of dominance. If you approach every emotionally charged situation as a I need to pass this test mentality, you show up guarded, right? Weapons up. Slightly strategic, and guess what? Women feel that defensiveness immediately. Even if they can't name it, they feel it. And what does it do? It creates disconnection. It creates more problems. It creates more anger, which creates more conflict again and again and again. And guess what? Suddenly you're just in this loop, this never-ending loop. So most women aren't strategizing against you. They're not trying to see you fail. They're trying to figure out if you're safe enough to love, to be in a relationship with, to build a future with. They're looking to see if you're consistent, if you'll still be there when things are hard, if opening up to you will cost them something. And that is not a test. That is a complete reasonable question for someone to ask themselves before they open up their heart to someone. The answer she's looking for is not a perfect man with no flaws. It's not a man who never reacts, who doesn't show emotion. The answer she's looking for is this person is genuinely trustworthy. He's consistent not because he's performing, but because that's who he actually is. And guess what? You cannot fake your way into that. You cannot strategize your way into that. You can only get there by being it. By being a man whose behavior is consistent, whether or not he thinks he's being watched. That's what she's actually trying to assess. And the way you pass is not by treating it like it's a test at all. So you have to start replacing, is she testing me, with what is she actually trying to tell me right now? What questions should I be asking right now? That single shift from being guarded to being curious, from being defensive to being curious, changes the dynamic of a relationship. Because guess what? Curiosity naturally opens things up. Defensiveness closes them down. Curiosity says, I want to understand you. Defensiveness says, I'm protecting myself from you. One builds intimacy, one does not. One makes a relationship deeper, one doesn't. The men who I work with that make the most powerful changes in their relationships are not the ones who figure out how to manage their partners, but who start to genuinely try to understand them. And listen, that doesn't make you weaker. It simply makes you someone who she actually feels safe with. And feeling safe is what makes her want to stay. Emotional intelligence means understanding what's actually happening instead of reacting to what's happening. And that skill is completely learnable, so that's the good news. And let me tell you, it changes every relationship dynamic. Link in bio to book a call with me. Comment below what hit the hardest. I'll see you next time.